Acquisitions are big. Have you ever thought about selling your company? We're talking with someone who has acquired multiple companies in our space. If you haven't thought about selling, maybe it's time to start thinking about it. I got my man, Josh Album. I've known you for fucking maybe almost 20 years, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. He's the CEO of GRP.
Our core investment thesis to entrepreneurs is entrepreneurship through acquisition. Onboard your business with our company, because most entrepreneurs, they're the accountant, they're the CFO, they're the lawyer, they're the account manager, they're
the fucking janitor.
They're everything, right?
Yeah.
They're everything. If they can plug their business into our operation and we can accelerate it, plug it into our back office, you focus on your skill set. You do what you built your business on. Let us focus on the accounting. Let us focus on the legal. Let us focus on the add-ons. And now you have a real team behind you. As you know, in order to win, you need to have laser focus. You're a sports guy. Your point guard's horrible. You suck. If your center's too short, you're going to get dominated on the boards. We're acquiring an all-star team of entrepreneurs. Every acquisition, we've grown at least 3x in the first year.
There's nothing like being home. Just shot a banger, another banger. There's bangers after bangers. The shit doesn't stop. So make sure you don't miss that episode. Shout out to Ringba. Ringba's doing big things in pay-per-call. We're gonna blow up pay-per-call with Ringba. They got the Pay-Per-Call Revolution book, which is changing people's lives, providing tons of value for the community. Make sure you're reading the book. Shout out to After Your Work, my man Darren Blatt. New York City, right across the river. LFG show is nominated for Best Podcast of the Year. Fucking pumped up. We've only been doing this a few months, but the love that we're getting in our DMs when I travel all around the world, around the country, there's nothing but pure love out there. It makes me feel good. Give me that warm and fuzzy feeling. If you like what you're seeing, you're getting a lot of value out of this, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. We got a lot more fantastic stuff coming along the pipeline. The stuff that'll move the needle for you like it has for me. So get your fucking seatbelts buckled. We're gonna bring the fucking heat and let's fucking go, baby. We're back, we're in Jersey. We did 4 episodes the last 2 days in Miami, in Jersey, and I saved the best for last. Guys, acquisitions are big. Have you ever thought about selling your company? I'm gonna give you a fucking banger today. We're talking with someone who has acquired multiple companies in our space. If you haven't thought about selling, maybe it's time to start thinking about it. I got my man, Josh Album. I've known you for fucking maybe almost 20 years, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. He's the CEO of GRP. These guys are doing big things in the digital marketing lead generation space. It's a fucking pleasure to have you on the show, my man.
Thanks for having me.
Let's fucking go. It's gonna
good
be a good
to see you always.
So guys, man, I met you at a company called Educational Direct. We were doing student loan consolidation, right? I was in the call center, motivating people, throwing chairs. Crazy fucking environment, man. You were more on the media side, right?
I was buying media. I was in the marketing department. It was my first job right out of college, and I learned a lot and set me on my career path, and met tremendous people, amazing people like yourself, and created a really great network for me to continue to grow from.
Yeah, and guys, I mean, it's funny thing, you won't find anything about that company online. You Google it, nothing comes online. It's crazy.
Crazy culture, amazing culture. A great culture of learning, a great culture of success, a great culture of positivity. And I think as not only I think you can attest to, but probably was a big motivator or pivotal part of your career in helping you achieve what you've achieved, because it's all about who you surround yourself with and what you can learn from. And the people who are running that organization were fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are so many good success stories that came out of it. People have gone on to do amazing things. And again, I wasn't an owner, I was an employee, but man, the shit that I learned, and I always tell people, everyone wants to start their own business, but you got to to go from point A to point Z, you got to learn, you got to learn. And the good things that I got paid well, I got to be me. I'm throwing chairs, the team let me be me. Eric let me be me, and he saw that. He wasn't looking to micromanage anybody. We just fucking blew up. It was nuts.
I think there's two different trains of thought in how you learn and how you become the individual you are or the entrepreneur you are. You could go to school and you can learn a lot of theory, or you could do it in practice. And you and I did it in practice, right? I didn't go and get an MBA. You didn't go and get an MBA, but we did get an MBA. We got an MBA.
More than an MBA.
More than an MBA, because we were in it. We were doing it. We were living it. We were breathing it. It was happening and coming at us for us to react to and react on the fly and learn on the fly. And I think throwing people into the fire and having that ability to just learn from, teach, see one, do one, teach one.
That environment, man, going back, damn, we moved so fast over there, right? And we broke shit, but like we figured it out right away. And that's really where I got and I was always it was like the perfect people, the right people in the right seats is what it was. And I was like, we're go, man. And I remember we rented out a hotel for a month out there, right? Where was it? In Tenafly. I mean, and people were coming in the office 7 a.m. on the phone closing. It was June Madness. We were just going nuts, man. But like everything, man, what great memories those were. And that really set us up to help us get to where we are now.
Great culture of winning.
Yeah, culture of winning, exactly. So let's fast forward now. GRP, what does GRP do? You're the CEO of GRP. I know you guys are great at what you do and a lot of aspects. To tell the audience what you guys are doing.
So the core principle and thesis and operation of what GRP does is we are a marketing technology company. We specialize in customer acquisition, marketing technology, cohort analytics. The business was really founded on email marketing, database marketing, and so when I came over, the business was primarily involved in customer acquisition in the UK. And when you had
I didn't know that.
You had a crystal ball of how customer acquisition and lead generation worked, because the UK was 5 years behind us at that point in time, and this is in 2010. So we took our skills and our learning and our know-how and brought it to the UK. We were very successful in doing that, and we ended up selling that business. And that was a business that was a joint venture between two companies. We rolled that business up, and that was pretty much around maybe 2015. And then after that, we really focused our attention on diversifying and building a bigger media company. And how do you do that? And first you look at the data and you figure out, okay, what's analogous to the data sets we have? We were big in consumer finance. We were big in email marketing. So how do we not only diversify from the data set and the vertical, but how do we also diversify out of the type of media that we're publishing, which was email at the time. And the first thing that we noticed was online education had a huge, strong affinity to.
This is like 2015 around that time.
This is 2015 to our data sets, to people who were looking for access to credit. And that unlocked a huge potential to us. It became our fastest growing vertical, and we became one of the largest publishers in generating leads and customers and prospective students for schools. And fast forward to 2020, COVID happens. And I'm sitting at home working across from my father, and you see the news, you see the trends in what's happening in your data, and you see that personal loans and consumer finance are skyrocketing, but the floor got pulled out from underneath it because the lenders pulled out. But online education kept going because the narrative was, you need to be home and you can learn from, your living room. So budgets were flying out. Demand was flying out. So I called up our biggest agency at the time and I said, I need more budget. And he was like, we don't have any more budget for you. And he's like, I'm having a little bit of cash flow problems, COVID. And I said, I'm going to buy you.
Wow.
And he laughed. And I said, no, I'm not kidding. You're going to come to have lunch with me and Gary, and we're going to buy you. Would you be interested? He said, yeah. So fast forward, our first acquisition was in 2021. We grew that business, Path 56 Media, 3x in the first year. We doubled revenue. And we took an existing web property that he had, was sitting on a shelf. He couldn't get the developers at the time or the energy to do it. He was dabbling in some call center stuff. We took that over, and that one business line, the College Review, does over $1 million a year in revenue, was sitting on a shelf because he couldn't get it done.
He didn't have the time, probably.
Didn't have the time. He didn't have the resources.
Bandwidth,
and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but our core, investment thesis to entrepreneurs is entrepreneurship through acquisition. Onboard your business with our company. Because most entrepreneurs, they're the accountant, they're the CFO, they're the lawyer, they're the account manager, they're
fucking janitor.
They're everything, right? They're everything. So if they can plug their business into our operation and we can accelerate it and they plug it into our back office, you focus on your skill set. You do what you built your business on. Let us focus on the accounting. Let us focus on the legal. Let us focus on the ad ops. And now you have a real team behind you. You have capital behind you. So after that acquisition, we acquired the remaining equity back in a company called Jobs Online, which we were a minority partner in at the time. And it gets 100% of its traffic from Google SEM. And it just, but it wasn't getting its focus. It wasn't getting, as you know, in order to win, you need to have laser focus. You need to be able to be, just in it every day. And no one was really just, the captain of the ship. Took that business, layered it into our business, and I think we 10x the business.
Wow.
It was doing 2,000 registrations a day, and now it's doing 15,000 registrations a day. And then from there, we acquired an SMS marketing platform, which was very symbiotic to our story of looking at email and understanding how email engages with consumers and being able to reach that demographic. Well, we should be able to do the same thing in mobile, because mobile is the most transformative thing since the rise of the internet, right? Everyone's on a device. Everything's happening in front of your face.
Yep.
So that was our fourth acquisition. And then we acquired an ESP, FeedBlitz, which was amazing. Being an email marketing company as its founding, foundation of what the business was built on is tremendous. And controlling that and having a real customer base and building a real SaaS product really has tremendous benefits and vertical integration thesis like through its core, right? And then we acquired another online education agency, Provide Media, who Kyle and Craig were really working hand in hand, getting budgets from one another. And then from there, we acquired our call center in Mesa, Arizona, because a lot of people needed to, especially in education, you need to have an onshore presence from compliance, from a lot of other intangible aspects that an onshore call center. As you know, you've been in the call center business, and it's tremendously successful, and congratulations on all that. And I think, that was, again, core to the vertical integration thesis. The leads were generating from our owned and operated properties are now going into this life cycle of a call center and email, and we're touching the consumer in a lot of different touch points. And the last acquisition was we put someone in business for the mass tort vertical.
Wow.
Something we always wanted to get into, but I'm not going to wake up one day and say, you know what, I think we should be in mass tort. Let's go. Because I don't have the relationships, I don't have the contacts, I don't have the know-how. So it's a great diversified media machine, and the best part about it is we're bringing in amazing people and amazing entrepreneurs, because you need, you're a sports guy. If your point guard's horrible, you suck. If your center's too short, you're going to get dominated on the board. So at the end of the day, we're acquiring an all-star team of entrepreneurs, and knock on wood to date, I know it's not wood, but this is every acquisition we've grown at least 3x in the first year.
That's incredible.
And we're very, very selective on who we allow to bring into this organization. You have to, culture is paramount to what we do. You could have one poisonous, acquisition that could destroy the culture, can destroy the trajectory of the business, and that's not something we're looking to do. We're looking to go as fast as possible, but not rush.
Yeah, great. I mean, the story, and I knew some of the stuff. I didn't know how in depth. I didn't realize there was that many acquisitions, and it makes sense. It's all connected. You need the call center, squeeze more juice out of leads. You need ESP for email marketing, right? And then you're looking at the verticals. Legal is fucking hot as hell, man. I know it is. I mean, we try to, but it's hard to crack. Very hard to crack. I mean, Camp Lejeune was running for how long? People made a lot of money.
It's the same. It's the same thing for solar.
Yeah.
You're the king of solar. I'm not waking up and I'm saying I'm going to start a solar business. How am I going to do that unless I hire someone who's the expert in that business? Right? It's all business development is hard. That's what really got us onto this accelerated acquisition path. We did it. We said, "Wow, this is pretty good at this. Maybe we should do it again." But the hardest thing to do in business is sales and business development. But if I call you up and I say, "Hey, David, I think I could sell you some leads. This is what my company does." Maybe you're not going to call me back, or you're not going to return my email. But if I call and I leave a message that says, "Hey, this is Josh Allen, the CEO of GRP Ads. I'm interested in buying your business," you're probably going to give me a call back.
Yeah, you start thinking about it. Yeah.
Now there's a 10% chance I'm going to buy your business, but there's a 90% chance that I'm going to work with you.
Yeah. And you get to know the person more intimately. They're for real, they're bullshitting, all that stuff.
Establish a relationship.
Yeah, you establish a relationship. And there's so much to unpack out of that. And I think the biggest thing for me, I mean, I interviewed Momentum Solar yesterday, a big client of mine. the CEO and CRO, they cemented a term in my brain called collapsing timeframes. And essentially, that's what you guys are doing. You know, time is money. That's the one thing. You could always make more money, you could do, but you can't replace the second we just lost, right? So when you're buying out another company, acquiring them, you're really collapsing timeframes, not only for yourself, but for the business owner as well. And I think one thing that our industry, a lot of talented people, you know, I've been with your team, I've been with Gary, we've been all over the world. We were in Dominican Republic at this event, Pelican, a phenomenal event. Tons of great talented people there, but a lot of these people are solopreneurs, or they have one or two people, and they're gifted at generating leads or getting people to click on ads and they're putting up big numbers, but they don't have a CFO, they don't have the legal, and then they get burned. And you see what's going on with ACA, tons of people owed a lot of fucking money there. People are nervous, right? So, but when you have the team, not only do you collapse timeframes, but you protect yourself. And then one bad campaign, one guy doesn't pay you, you're out of business, man. So I think that's the beauty of having a team with experience. And going back to our days at Educational Direct, that same template that was employed there, it's kind of the same template that you're using now with more experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, there's you can make a quick buck in this industry,
Yep.
and you can make money. But if you want to build a big business, that requires a different level of commitment and a different level of focus and a different level of capital, and I think and a different level of team.
Yep.
And some people want to commit to that, and some people don't, because, you know, we've been in this space a long time. You know, as fast as someone comes on the scene is as fast as they're gone. And so you have a lot of young kids, you have a lot of entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs who can, you know, learn how to buy media and make a quick buck and might not do the right thing and might not create a reputation for themselves or establish a long-standing, you know, company in this space. But they're two different, you know, skill sets to have.
Yep.
And I think if you make the distinction that you want to build a big company, it just requires a different type of commitment and focus.
Yeah, and then it comes back to talking about sports teams, right? You got the coach, you got the point guard, you got the center, you got this, you got that. Looking back at the Patriots, Tom Brady, I mean, Bill Belichick, perfect combination. It's funny because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl on his own. Belichick hadn't had much success, but them two together, they were like dynasties,
Look,
right?
it's perfect. I'm so happy you said that, because even though I'm the CEO of GRP, the executive team, my partners are the best, because I couldn't do this by myself, and people who do it by themselves wish, I think, that they had a deeper bench from partnerships, because you can really delegate and really hone in on the specific skill sets that your partners have.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a great people guy. I'm good with numbers, but I'm not the best with numbers, so I rely on my other partner with numbers. And we're in the spreadsheets and you know, sales, and having Greg and an amazing, you know, personality out there representing our company and bringing in the opportunities. He's amazing, right? Gary speaks for himself. I mean, Gary is a serial entrepreneur.
Gary's amazing.
Who's had a tremendous success in this space. Who, you know, is so wise to be able to give perspective in certain things that we've never experienced before, but Gary has. You know, that creates a winning formula. There are intangible aspects to that cohesiveness, I think, and that's really what can set people apart from just throwing up a landing page and selling a few leads.
Yeah. And what do you say, because obviously when you acquire a company or anything, one of the concerns, and then I went through the acquisition process with a private equity firm a year and a half ago, and we'll talk about that in a bit too. And I learned a lot. It was eye-opening. It wound up falling through. We were deep in the thing, and one of the reasons it fell through was that the verticals and solar just took a deep dive. Last year, I think 250, 300 solar companies went out of business. Obviously, a lot of them were our clients. So our earnings went down when they did the quality of earnings the first quarter, all this stuff. And they all gave us a valuation of 40% lower. And they're actually 100% right. If we had timed that 3 months earlier, we would have exited, right? So I learned so much. We can talk about that in a bit. But, you know, at first, my partner and I, like, do you want to give out our equity? We want to dilute ourselves because we built this thing. Is it the right thing to do? What if this company's going to take X amount? And we still would have been held on. There was like second bite of the apple. You know, the idea is that you'll sell the second time, and you get a smaller piece, but it's a bigger amount, right? So that kind of delayed us. That delayed us maybe 2 or 3 months before we decided to pull the trigger. And I think it cost us at the end of the day because the timing got fucked up. So what do you say to someone listening, like, this is my baby. I don't want to give up equity. What do you? Because that's
so. I think you're spot on, right? The subjective nature of someone's company that they built, right? That they've.
It's like your baby, yeah.
It is their baby.
Yeah.
They have every right to put what value they want on their business, right? They have, there's intangibles and tangibles, right? There's math and there's not math. So first off, we come to that process knowing that, and we're dealing with people, and we're dealing with something that's very important to these individuals. It's all about where you want to go and where you think you can take your company. And our core investment thesis is we're acquiring a majority stake, right? We're leaving current ownership with a large equity stake. It can be anywhere between 20 to 50%, 49% still in that equity stake, which gets profit distributions. They get an executive salary, right? And so talk about the second bite at the apple, where there's a liquidity event now. There's some type of earn-out, which isn't traditional earn-out, but we can get into those details later if you decide you want to join. And then a second bite at the apple, because you can go like this by yourself and maybe get there, or you can plug in and tap into our multiple and get there faster.
Collapse time
and you're
frames.
going to get the benefit of trading at the top line. There's no, if you trade at 10, if I trade at 10 and I buy you for 4, I'm saying, oh, I'm only going to pay you a 6 multiple. No, we're saying, come on with us. I trade at 10, even though I buy you for 4, you're still going to trade at 10 when we sell.
Yep.
So that's part of the, snapshot into the process of how we acquire the acquisitions. But you're right. It's a human. There's a human element to this, and I think if you come at it with a human element rather than a number or a variable and treating you like a number and treating you like a variable, and that hey, I'm going to pay you X. This is what it's going to be. If you don't like it, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I think you have to be. There's emotional intelligence into this whole process.
And people make decisions based on emotion, right? That's what, and they justify it with logic.
Look, they have every right to. It's the business they built from the ground up. But there are core private equity, VC, whatever you want to talk about and call it, models of how things are valued.
Yeah.
And that's it. And sometimes it's educating these entrepreneurs, these small businesses, into the process of how it works. And I think once you back into that and you talk about how it works and where we're looking to go, I think it makes a lot of sense, which is why we've been successful at it.
And I think one thing you said that resonated with me, listen, I started my company in 2016. I started getting a lot of traction in 2019. Started to grow tremendously, man. And then I have a partner, I was doing business. He wasn't my partner at the time, but we decided in late 2021, like, hey, maybe we should merge our companies together. He was doing data, I'm doing a live leads. There's a lot of synergy there. I enjoyed working with him. The guy was always trustworthy. Even when things were bad, like, we got to work with each other in the good and bad times, and we liked each other, and we complimented each other. But at first I was nervous, like, I don't know how many, maybe I had 5 or 6 people on my team. I was more like a solopreneur, doing a million different things. And I was a little nervous. And now instead of me being 100%, I'm gonna have 50% equity. And so you start thinking all this crazy stuff. I decided to pull the trigger. And when I pulled the trigger, wow! I mean, at first there was a little bit of we'll talk about that too. The cultural fit, how I moved a little different than he moved, but then we meshed. It took like 3 or 4 months, but then things started to click. But bro, man, I inherited so many people on the ops side. Like, I'm not an ops person. I had a team.
Age Data. There's only a few months left of this.
A lot of different ways to monetize data. Data is a very broad term. There's a lot more money in it. You already spent the money. Let's just say it cost you $10 for a Medicare lead. You make $1 million in sales, you really only made $100,000.
And you might not get paid by your advertiser.
What if I can get an extra 50 cents, $1, $2, $3 per lead in perpetuity? What does that do to my marketing campaign? What does that do for the stress of the profits of my company? A percentage or two at those kind of numbers are huge as moving the needle. So for us, what I love about Age Data, the hard part's already been done. Now it's just a revenue lift for your company. What would the extra $10, $20, $30,000 a week do for your business?
Absolutely.
All of our big partners are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions a year with us. They're never going to have this gold rush again.
And then this one, people always wonder, like, Dave, do you work? Because they see me traveling. I'm working, doing what I enjoy doing. I'm connecting with people. I'm talking to people like you. I'm building this fucking crazy network. So my team's handling, they're handling the operations. They're handling the stuff I'm bringing to the table. And that's what's allowed us to grow. And then when we merged, man, damn, our revenue went through the fucking roof. So much so that we started getting attention, and then people wanted to buy us out. You know, at first I thought it was a joke. I'm getting these emails, oh, we were interested in buying you out. I'm like, this ain't fucking for real. But then it was for real. I'd go to like solar shows. People are like, oh, I saw you do this interview. We'd be interested in acquiring you. And bro, I'm listening to that person versus someone trying to sell me a lead or do a JV. Like, you know, if someone's talking about lots of money, you're going to listen to them. 8 figures. Like, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to say is that for people listening, like, oh, I'm used to doing it my way. You got to step outside your comfort zone. I was nervous at first. I'm like, what? You know, I'm giving them control. It was kind of weird at first, but now I see the wisdom of all of that, and that's why I can do what I do, what I'm good at.
Look, real executives don't let their day control them. They control their day.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's something that I've learned as I've grown as an entrepreneur and as an executive, as a CEO of making sure that, you know, the team can operate and are empowered to make decisions.
Yeah.
Right? They feel that they are in charge. They have control. And because you trust them, they have control. And that allows you to be successful and scale, you know, in a true executive fashion. So I think you're spot on with something that you didn't necessarily think of that now you can. And that just brings back to, you know, collapsing the time frames, which is something similar to what Steve Jobs said when he gave us a speech, I think at Stanford University, which is you can always connect the dots backwards, you can't connect them forwards.
Yeah.
But knowing that can help you
Connect the dots forward.
connect the dots forward.
Yeah.
So as you look back and all the acquisitions we've done, I can connect the dots backwards and every acquisition that we've done to know, and they've all been successful, but working with certain people of how I think this seems similar to this situation. So now I think we should approach it with this, or this is this business. And you know, all the businesses we've acquired, they were all on our AR/AP. We were doing business with them. So we had relationships with them. We knew we were intricately working with them because it goes back to culture, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare that I'm just going to call up someone random. We're going to layer them into this organization because we want to make sure we love each other.
Yeah.
We can work together in the good and the bad.
Wow, you said some great stuff. I love that you can't connect the dots forward, you can connect them backwards. That's huge right there. Love that. And then what you just said, I was going to ask you, how do you find these companies? And what you just said about there in your AP and AR, that makes all the sense in the world. So it's kind of like me, my partner Ed and I. We were doing business together for 3-4 years. Right. And then we got to see how we worked together. We enjoyed working with each other, very similar, same values. And then we decided to merge. And it's not like, you know, it's like the same thing like dating, getting married, same crap. So
it's exactly the right, it's exactly right. So before we have, you know, we'll get on a phone call, we'll do some Zooms, but you know, to dig deeper, we have to have people come here or we will fly to meet them in person and to go to dinner and to play golf
Sniff test.
or to hang out, whatever it is, because that's important. It's very important.
Yeah.
To us, it's the most important.
It's culture.
Because we've passed on acquisitions that just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. For the audience that listen, what's your ideal candidate? And it's great. You said people do, and we'll get more in depth.
Any business that's making anywhere between 500,000 to call it 2.5, 3 million in EBITDA.
Okay.
You know, because we think that the effectuation of growth at that company's level, we can, you know, 3x it. As you get into larger businesses that take longer to integrate, it's harder to grow them. And that's where M&A, I think, gets screwed up, right? Because most of the time, M&A doesn't work. They're not integrated right. It's not a culture fit. You know, people are told that they can still have the autonomy to run their business, but they aren't.
It's all bullshit,
You know, and a lot of the time, it's true, and it depends on the partner you have, but you know, I encourage anyone who's listening to go talk to one of our portfolio companies and hear from their mouth of what their experience has been in joining our team and working with us, and if they feel they have true autonomy or not. And I would be willing to bet that every one of them would tell you 100% yes. They make the decisions, and I'm there to help them be a sounding board of maybe think differently or help prioritize differently, or you know, maybe they didn't have a partner before that can give them different, you know, advice or opinions or analysis on certain things.
Yeah, different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
And that's what you need as a business owner. You're seeing things this way, you're missing out, right? And that's what the experts say. You have the legal. You got Gary with all his experience, right? Gary's been in this industry for decades. So he's a wildly successful person. I always say success leaves clues, big tenet of our show. And you guys have a formula that freaking works.
We stick to the formula. We're not straying from the formula. We're not looking to acquire horizontal EBITDA. Oh, that's a shiny object. Look, they make $5 million in EBITDA. If we think we layer it in, it makes our valuation We don't want to do that at all. We want to acquire companies that have vertical integration within what we're looking to achieve, fill a gap that we can't do, a skill set we don't have, a role we don't have, a vertical we don't have, and build it from there. And layer it in with our core skills that we know that we can take something from this to this.
Got it. So we talked about the revenue, 500,000 to 2.5 to 3 million EBITDA was essentially net profit. So everyone's so you don't think it's top line. It's different with top line and in profit.
Earnings before interest, taxes.
Learn that hard in the solar
Amortization
world.
and depreciation.
One thing one of my mentors says, revenue, top line is insanity. Revenue, I can't believe I forgot. Top line is vanity. Profit is sanity. Cash is king. It's really what it comes down to, man. Because there's so many companies putting up big numbers top line, but they don't know how to run the business. And if someone's putting a lot of top line money, but you're wasting money on a lot of shit, this is where the merger might make sense, or not the merger, acquisition makes sense. Someone comes in and buttons up. You start pissing away a lot of money. I was doing the same thing. I was pissing away money on this and that, and I didn't realize it till the end of the month. I'm like, man, I made all this money. Why don't I have that money in my bank? Where the fuck did it go? I thought I made X amount, and then it's cut in half. Well, you know what? I oversubscribed on my SaaS products. I got hit with overages because no one was watching. And all of a sudden, those overages go another 20 grand. 20 grand here, 5 grand here, 2 grand here. And there's like 40, 50 grand. I'm like, damn, half my profit's gone.
You know what we call that?
What?
The loose change program.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right?
Yeah.
There's loose change all over the floor.
Yeah.
And if you just figure out, if you figured out how to make an extra $500 a day.
Huge.
Okay? That's $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You just figured out, if I change this and I do this and I do this and at the time to focus, I made $500. Well, if everybody in your organization does that times 5, that's powerful stuff, So I challenge myself, and my mentors have challenged me to think bigger, right? Which is where you get to grow and where your growth becomes, I think, as an executive and a CEO. But the other side is we're all about the low-hanging fruit and the loose change and how to optimize and how to extrapolate the value of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't have the time, like what you're saying, because they're all over the place to really dig in. And things get missed.
Yeah, and I think they don't have the time because they're thinking on how do I make the next dollar. And then there's so much turbulence in our industry about like ACA is hot for a couple of years, goes to crap. What's the next thing? So there's always a scrambling mindset is what it is. And that's why teaming up with you and getting acquired helps you. You guys know you already have evergreen verticals that are working, right? And then you're looking for newer ones and you apply that formula. So I was going to ask you, what's your ideal, someone watching the show that's a digital marketer affiliate, what's your ideal candidate for acquisition? What verticals are in? Like, what are you guys hungry for right now?
So
your perfect fit.
Obviously, insurance is a hot vertical that we're looking to grow into. Home services is a big vertical. We're always looking to expand our reach within education. Senior vertical is a big vertical for us that we'd look to expand. There's a lot of affinity products that I think
100%.
that touch that demo. Tort, looking to build out in more. I think skill sets from media buying. So we'd love to enhance our internal media buying capabilities here. So layering in skill sets for a company that fits that. Click to call is a big one. We tried debt. That was a tough nut to crack.
That's tough, man. It got really saturated.
It's got saturated. I think a lot of the bigger players in the space have cherry picked a lot of the value out of the data. So, but definitely an analogous data set to our customer demographic, and content. Content's a big one for us that will help obviously drive a lot of the growth in the ESP because the ESP is
You say content, you're talking like native ad generation?
so more like blog.
Okay.
Recipes, coupons, sports content, stuff like that. And then data, like obviously data appends, data analytics.
Yeah.
There are a few companies we're talking to in that space that are really impressive. And I think the more you know about your customer and the more that you can create a lot of value from your data sets to deliver the right message at the right time, to the exact person in a much more refined way. And we're working on really building out our infrastructure behind the scenes to be able to handle that. Because the biggest thing, like I said before, is you can't only acquire a company, you have to integrate them.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
That's the process.
It's not, and a lot of people don't want to take the time to do it because let me tell you something, it's brain damage,
Yeah.
some of it, right? Getting there hooked up, the reporting and analytics, the compliance, it's not.
That was kind of when we merged, that was the biggest thing. Is like, now we got these emails, it got confusing. It's
But
it's
if
tough,
you don't
yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
if you don't do it, that's how you break.
And you've done it so many times where now it's like, it's easier. If you're like
yeah, you
first
have a
time,
template.
yeah.
You follow the
got
template,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You follow the template. You don't stray from the template. And I think once you start to go off path and not stay focused on the trajectory of what you're looking to do, and that comes back to, we're not looking to acquire companies that maybe have a lot of EBITDA or do a lot of revenue, but just because you're in maybe e-com doesn't mean that you're going to fit into this organization. We know how to grow you, because we have to be fair to you too, right? You're trusting us just like we're trusting you. It's a partnership.
I love that you say that too, because really, our business is a relationship business, and I think that's why you guys have an edge too. That you've been doing this for so long, you have so many relationships, and you've worked with so many people that you kind of know who's the right fit, rather than going to cold. And you have the templates, you have everything all locked in, checked off from point A to point Z.
Reputation. Look, reputation. we stand behind our reputation. I've been in this space for, I think since 2005.
Yeah. 20 years.
20 years.
Gary's probably 30 years. You
So,
guys probably have like 100 years of experience
so
on your team.
if you walk around in the space and whether it's my company's name, our company's name, my name, I don't think you would find.
You won't.
I'd be very surprised to hear that we did something that wasn't, above board, or we did the wrong thing. We treated you improperly. That's how we treat everyone with respect, and we'd always do the right thing at 930 Ventures and GRP, and we stand behind that. And I think that helps us have conversations, because when we bring an entrepreneur into our network and we fold them into our holdco company or our portfolio company, I just brought in your network.
Yes.
And if you don't truly believe
Yeah.
that's not gold, because I'm never going to know who's behind your doors,
Yes.
but you have to want to be able to open your door.
And that's how 1 + 1 = 10 versus 2.
Right.
Yeah, people. I'm glad you mentioned that, because people forget about that stuff, man. And again, success leaves clues.
It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
right? You could always connect, but if I don't connect to you, then I don't open up those relationships behind you, which the next acquisition could be sitting behind.
100%. That's great. So let's say someone listening on the show, and I would love nothing more than someone in our audience to be acquired by your company. I know, listen, we don't put people that are bullshit artists on our show. We put people track record success. It's my reputation too.
Of course.
If I'm putting people that are just doing bullshit, I'll be associated. No one's going to want to watch my show, right? So I would love for something like that to happen. And let's imagine, I don't know, next week, 2 weeks from now, you get a call or you communicate with someone that watched the show, and you start talking. What's the process look like? How long does it take from A to Z?
Look, we'll move as fast as they want to move. Phone call happens, get on a Zoom, tell them about our what they haven't already heard on this podcast, and then get them here for dinner, golf, meeting in person, really dig into the synergies, talk about where we're going and what our overall goal is. And then from there, go a little deeper, share some top level numbers, understand what's important to them. What do they want for their business, right? Because if someone's living on Saturn and thinks their business is worth $100 million, let's not waste each other's time.
Yeah.
So we try to flush that stuff out before. But look, I mean, we've closed businesses in 90 days.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to hear that quickly. I know how you guys move, so
Some
I'm not
take
surprised.
longer.
Yeah.
Some take longer.
What's the average?
I would say, I would probably say the average is like anywhere between 90 to 100 days.
Okay.
90 to 120 days.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, with us, and we were 2 months into it, and then like everything, it went the other way. It was private equity, and I think they were saying it's up to like 180 days is what it would be, right? It was like
Yeah, look, the more
120,
now let me be clear. The more complicated and sophisticated the potential acquisition target is, the longer that that takes, right? Different levels of due diligence, different aspects of due diligence, but yeah, I mean we move fast. We want to make sure that, because every minute you're not in this organization we feel is a lost opportunity, not only for you but for us.
I love that you say you move fast, and I'm a testament of that. I mean, I feel at Education Direct, it was like we got immersed in this culture of moving fast.
Sky's
right?
falling, right?
Yeah, sky's falling. We got to break last month's record, and I got indoctrinated in that. And I also think where we live in North Jersey, right across the river from New York City, right?
Look, it's a total mentality. It's the New York Northeast mentality, but it's also having goals. Like, you know, what's the goal? What's the projection? Did we hit it? We didn't. Why? How could we have done better? We're not here to blame anybody, right? We're not here to say, oh, you didn't hit your goal. You know, shame on you. It's about being accountable. Everyone's accountable to one another, but you have to be able to have goals. You know.
It comes down to results, and it comes down to didn't work. What do we do? And that's one thing at Education Direct. Things are getting fucking broke. What happened? What caused it to break? Let's fix it. Let's figure out not to do it again, and let's go. And then we're gonna break some other shit and boom. Let's keep going. Boom, boom, boom. Just keep going.
And it's who you hire as team members, right? We like to hire former collegiate athletes because their ability to not only problem solve but persevere, and their discipline,
competitiveness,
and they're goal oriented, and they have a culture of winning, teamwork, right? So that's core to who we are as a group. So
our producer of Show Chance, quarterback in college, man. I mean, you're right. Athletes, great salespeople, great athletes, people, and they're in the military, high-ranking military.
Too, but we have a few veterans that work for us, and again, they're some of the most savvy, just entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
because they want to figure it out.
Yeah, no, it's great. It comes down to the team, and this was so great. We're going to wrap up, but the last thing I was going to say is that who can people reach on you? If you meet those criteria, and listen, guys, time is money, so don't waste time. If you're not within that category, or you know, again, I don't want to be too harsh here, but you know, when it comes down,
I have an idea. Why don't you have more insight into your subscriber base? I think maybe if they reach out to you, and you think you have a hot one, they can come to us, and then we can go that way.
Hit us up.
This way, keep our celebrity in the loop, and thank you for having me, and seeing you just build something amazing over your career has been tremendous, and I'm honored to be on this podcast. And these guys set up a real operation. This is impressive.
Oh, it's only going to get better too. I'm telling you. We'll do another round. We'll do a part 2. Come down to Boca, and we have a podcast studio.
This has been really incredible, and I'm happy to share our story, and can't wait to see what you do with it.
Listen, guys, success leaves clues. I've known these guys for 20 years. They don't fuck around. They're very disciplined, very smart, and they're very hungry. I mean, you guys have had a lot of success, but you guys don't rest on your laurels. You guys are looking to do big things. So that's what excites me, having people like you. It motivates me, man. We keep going.
Look, entrepreneurs, you'll never stop a true entrepreneur from, figuring it out, making money, adapting and surviving. And entrepreneurs get punched in the face, and things don't go your way, right? But you figure it out, and you keep growing, and you keep achieving, and we're excited to see what the future has for us, and I'm excited to see what the future has for you.
I am too, and that's why we call it the LFG Let's Fucking Go show. We just fucking go. Things are good, go, keep going. Things are bad, keep going. Let's fucking go. Pleasure to have you on the show, Josh.
Thanks, man. Great to see you.
Love you, man.
Awesome stuff.
That was awesome.